I now call this meeting of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association Student Senate to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to begin our Student Senate meeting taking place on Thursday, April 2nd, 2026 with a land acknowledgement. We recognize that Kansas State University, as the first land-grant institution, stands on the ancestral lands of the Kaw people. Our state of Kansas is home to 4 federally recognized Native nations, the Iowa, Kickapoo, Prairie Band Potawatomi, and Sac and Fox. We must remember that the land serving as the foundation for this institution was and still is stolen land acquired by white settlers. We pledge our commitment to creating decolonized spaces at the university while advocating for the support and future success of Indigenous faculty, staff, and students at K-State. Speaker Pro Tem Lee will now take it away with the first roll call.
Welcome back, folks. Last time for this guy. Sorry, Meatball's last roll call. Abai.
Here.
Alfei Lakawi.
Here.
I messed it up this time.
No, that was good.
Okay, fire. That'll be the next person's job. Alvarez.
Here.
Bailey.
Here.
Barnes.
Here.
Basler.
Here.
Biswell. Oh, yeah. Biswell not here. Black.
Here.
Von Traeger.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Carruthers.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Cook.
Here.
Conrad.
Here.
Contrusi. Corbin.
Here.
Ediger.
Here.
Engel.
Here.
Eppard.
Here.
Foote.
Here.
Freeman.
Here.
Gee.
Here.
Gee or G? G? Okay. I'm gonna write like the letter. Okay, next to your name. Geiger.
Here.
Glad you knew your name was coming up. Guru Shankar.
Here by proxy.
Holmes.
Here.
Jacobson. Jarek.
Here.
Jones Akeem. Jones Isabel.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Lee is here, but don't count. Von Leonrod.
Here.
Lund.
Here.
Maganga. Miller.
Here.
O'Farrell.
Here.
Oliver.
Here.
Otto.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Pritchard.
Here.
Oh, gotcha, buddy. Richenberg.
Here.
Richburg.
Here.
Salmon.
Here.
Sands.
Here.
Shellhaze.
Here.
Shakib. Oh, sorry, Hassan Shakib. Gotcha. Shatavari.
Yes.
Cipiora is proxy. Steenkamp.
Here.
Tio.
Here by proxy.
Till. Volgamore.
Here.
Winter.
Here.
Zach O'Katy. Zach O'Malley.
Here by proxy.
Okay. For official proxies, 1 second. Do apologize. I think quick note about proxies as well. I know some folks were proxying last week. When we go into vote later today, if your proxy has not filled out the proxy form, it does not count. So, FYI. But for my official list of proxies today, I have Engel for TO, Basler for Cipiora, Till for Guru Shankar, Jacobson for Contrusi, Conrad for Zacco, Geiger for Akeem, and that's it. So, thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. We will now move into the first open period. Are there any first open period speakers? President Pena. And we can go ahead and close our laptops so that we're giving Christian all of our attention.
Okay. Okay, Galvers, everybody. Tonight, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. This is going to be something that's going to be coming through Senate, if not. Okay, it'll be coming through Senate eventually. But I want to keep you all up to date on what's happening regarding the rec project and a couple of one of the committees that we're going to be spearheading here within the next couple weeks. So this is talking about rec field programming, and what it is that there's going to be there will be turf on existing rec fields just to the west of the bill, and then also we will also be talking about Edwards Hall site, where we'll also be having student tailgating parking as a possibility for the future. So here you'll see kind of the strategic layout. This is not completely final yet, but what you'll see here is the turf right there. That's going to be all blocked off, as well as some new sand volleyball courts and pickleball. And then up at is this a pointer? Definitely not. Okay. All right. And then up in the orange, you'll see the rec opportunity in the existing parking. So the rec opportunity is where there will be a possibility of more pickleball courts on the Edwards Hall lot. So here's the proposed idea and the opportunity here with this Edwards Hall area. This is just to the south of the current tennis courts. So you'll see some outdoor fitness with some other turf, the sand volleyball courts, open space. And then this is also a potential area for where student tailgating could be taking place in the future. These are just costs. If anybody has any questions regarding the costs or wants this presentation, Anna, you can send that out as well. So here's a couple of the costs that will be incurred over the phase. So this is a phase 1 project. This is, I believe, 2 to 3 phases, depending on what is going to all be carried out throughout this time. Outdoor fitness, cool stuff happening, pickleball, sand volleyball. All right, so here's a couple of examples of what is the opportunity to be had. Architects have not yet been hired or named yet, and that's where part of some of you all's perspective will get to be brought in on this conversation as well. So if you do have strong feelings about what the rec is going to look like in the future, or what that could look like for you for your all time here, this is something that you all should be a part of. So here's just a quick draft schedule. So March, April, I'm here with you all today regarding this. We'll also probably have a more formal time that someone will come in and bring this and have more knowledge regarding this subject as well. So design team selection will be this summer, fall in 2026, which will be something that you all get to take place on if you all are interested. The bidding, which will be happening, and then hopefully we'll be able to start construction next May. That'll be completely fulfilled by May of 2028. Here's the priorities for phase 1. Like it says, survey. Cool. And that is all. So what I'm here mainly to talk to you all about tonight is that we have an opportunity, and you all have an opportunity here to sit on a committee that is going to be working towards the student tailgating area. So currently that is taking place in Lot 2. If you are in a fraternity or sorority, or if you've ever explored the row there, you've seen what it's like to be a student and being able to tailgate here at Kansas State, and just the unique opportunity that students have to be able to be a part of that. Currently, roughly 100 spots are allocated to students to be able to purchase and be able to have a tailgate, whether that's with their fraternity, sorority, or their student org, or if they just have interest with some of their friends that they want to take part in that. Another part of that is going to be, of that committee, is going to be able to look at what the options are going forward for, depending on the Edwards Hall lot that I had kind of showed back here, where there was going to be also pickleball courts right here. So this parking is going to be completely open for students, and the opportunities here, it's up to us to decide. And so if you want to be a part of what that's going to look like for the coming years, you all have the opportunity to be able to do that. I'll ask, you guys can have.
Are there any questions for Christian? Senator Brown?
Could you go back to the map? I'm like trying to figure out where this is.
Okay, so you see, so this is at the rec center right now. All of this is taking place at the rec center. So you'll see here, this is the bill. This is weird. But this is currently all grass right now, where all the intramural softball and flag football are taking place. That a little clearer now?
Yep.
Okay.
Senator Freeman?
I don't know if you'll have the answer for this, but For the parking for pickleball, will that be open 24/7 for students, or is that going to be like weekend times, or if that's like undecided yet?
That is still undecided.
Okay.
Senator Black.
Will this end up being a one-time allocation at a student service fee through Senate?
That I cannot speak to as we don't have enough details yet.
Okay.
Any further questions? Awesome. Thanks, Christian. Are there any further first open period speakers? The minutes were distributed on Tuesday along with the agenda and legislation tracking information. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Senator Black.
So moved unanimously.
Second.
Awesome. The minutes stand approved. We'll hop into announcements. Speaker office hours will be held on Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. and TBD for Speaker Pro Tempore office hours. Proxies, if you're going to be absent from a student senate meeting, please fill out the link, even if you aren't sure if the absence will be excused. If you will be physically absent from student senate but would like to attend via Zoom, please fill out the student senator Zoom request form. Speaker Rudd will review requests based on the student senate attendance policy. Want to give props to someone in student senate, fill out the senate shoutouts form, and Speaker Pro Tem Lee will read them at the end of our meeting. We will have college caucus time during next week's Senate, and we will elect college caucus leaders during that time. So if you're considering applying for a committee chair, please do not run for this position. We are aiming to spread out leadership opportunities to as many people as possible. Senate exec applications are now open and will be due Friday, April 10th. If you're interested in a committee chair position or parliamentarian, please consider applying. Interviews will be held Sunday, April 12th. Contact myself or a former committee chair or the former parliamentarian if you have any questions. That link is on the agenda. If you have any ideas for a social media post, please fill out that form to be in communication with the communications agency. And SGA Member of the Week is parliamentarian Anna Koch. Anna has always shown up early to Senate or other SGA events to assist in setting up the equipment and ensuring we could start in a timely manner. Thank you, Anna, for consistently working hard throughout the last term, creating a fun environment at Senate and ensuring we are remaining respectful during debate. For upcoming events, we'll have Senate next Thursday at 7 p.m. here in Wildcat Chambers. And then the quote of the week is, "The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things." And that's from former President Ronald Reagan. We have a senator that needs to be installed tonight. So Eli, if you'll meet me at the front. Has anyone not been installed as a senator? Perfect. Okay. Go ahead and hold up your right hand and say "I will" after I say what I'm about to say. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of senator and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I will.
Perfect. Let's get a round of applause for you. One last thing. We're going to go ahead and have you introduce yourself with your name, your major, your hometown, and your favorite smell.
My name is Eli Foote. I am a software mechanical engineering, and my favorite smell is rain, probably.
Okay, we're going to move into approval of appointments. Is there a motion to consider Resolution 2627-1? Senator Clark.
I move to consider Resolution 262701.
Second.
Will the author please come? Senator Ediger.
After the bill's been read, I have a friendly amendment.
Okay, thank you. Would the author please come forward?
Okay. Resolution 262701, approval appointments of the Deputy Attorney General. Authors Samantha Boniface, sponsors Carson Rudd, Christian Pena, Katie Albertson. Whereas it is necessary to approve the Deputy Attorney General for the 26 to 2027 academic school year. Whereas this position was sufficiently advertised, whereas applications were made available to all students who showed interest in the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Whereas there were 5 applicants for the position of Deputy Attorney General, whereas the following individual has been selected by the incoming Attorney General to serve on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the Kansas State University student body throughout the next term. And whereas this appointment is subject to approval by Student Senate, be it resolved that Section 1, the following individual is approved to serve as the Deputy Attorney General for the 2026-2027 Kansas State University Student Governing Association term, Matt Hendricks.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Ediger.
Can I, as a friendly amendment, can I add Joshua Moffman as a sponsor on this legislation? Would that be considered a friendly amendment, author? Yeah.
Are there any other questions or corrections for the author? Yes.
Line 18 should say Deputy Attorney General. It says Attorney General.
Selected by the incoming Attorney General.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm wrong. Ignore me.
Are there any further additions or, questions or corrections to the legislation? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 262701 unanimously? Senator Otto.
I move to approve resolution 262701 unanimously. Second.
Matt, if you want to go ahead and come up here.
All right, if you say I will after I repeat this, I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute, and that too. Okay. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Deputy Attorney General and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I will.
All right, please share your name, hometown, major, and favorite smell.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Hendricks. I'm a sophomore in Ag Econ from Bird City, Kansas, and my favorite smell is Subway.
Is there a motion to consider Resolution 262702? Senator Freeman.
I move to consider resolution 02.
Second.
Will the author please come forward?
Resolution 262702, authors Christian Pena, Caden Bastian, sponsors Dr. Thomas Lane, Carson Rudd, and Samantha Boniface. Whereas the position of Chief of Staff was sufficiently advertised via an application made available to all students who showed interest in the Kansas State University Student Governing Association. Whereas this individual was chosen as on the basis of their leadership ability, experience, and dedication to serving the students of Kansas State University. Be it resolved that Section 1, the following individual be approved as the 2026-2027 Chief of Staff, Kylie Temple.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Alvarez.
Line 10 needs an and before at the very end of the line.
Are there any other questions or corrections for the author? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 262702 unanimously? Senator Black.
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. Kylie, do you want to join us up here?
Kylie, please raise your right hand. After this, please say I do, or I will. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Chief of Staff and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I will.
Yay, congrats. You know the drill.
I do. Hi, everyone. I'm Kylie Temple. I'm a sophomore in agriculture economics. I'm originally from Hermiston, Oregon, which is northeast Oregon, the dry, kind of ugly part of Oregon. And my favorite smell is probably the smell of coming to my cabin out in the woods and when you first open the door. Yeah.
We'll now move into committee reports. Are there any committee chairs that would like to give a report tonight? Figured. Awesome. We'll now move into directors' reports. Are there any directors that would like to give a report tonight? Parliamentarian Koch.
All right, guys. So just a heads up. So we, as of right now, to the best of my knowledge, we have at least more than 2 people running for Speaker Pro Tempore tonight, which is great, and I'm so excited. That being said, the process is just a little bit different compared to last week when we had 2 people running. So it'll start off the same. Each presenter will have 10 minutes to present, and we'll have time to ask them questions. And then we will go into the speeches, which is 5 people per potential Speaker Pro Tempore. And then after 5 speeches, or until someone calls previous question after 5 speeches, then we will take a vote. If someone does not get more than 50% of the vote, then we keep going with speeches until someone ultimately gets 50%. So that being said, no one is forced to drop out of the race unless they willingly do so. So we could be here for a while until we get 50%. That being said, that's a lot of information. Do you have any questions?
Senator Freeman.
Is it speeches after we vote, or do we just keep voting?
It'll be speeches.
Okay.
If previous question is called, I don't believe we'll debate anymore.
In the past, we have.
Okay.
We can take a look at that pretty quick.
Are there any other questions for Parliamentarian Koch? Okay, thank you. Up next, we will have introduction of legislation. The first bill is 262702. Is there a motion to consider Bill 262702? Yes, Senator Clark.
I move to consider Bill 262702.
Second.
And the author is already forward. Awesome.
Is there a motion to summarize?
Senator Edgar.
I move to allow the author to summarize. Second.
Thank you. So I am going to read the whereas clauses. Whereas the Kansas State University Student Governing Association should continue to review and update its governing documents to improve the operation of the organization. Whereas the Strategic Oversight Committee has been debated as to the usefulness it provides to KSU SGA. Whereas these amended bylaws would give the Strategic Oversight Committee a specified purpose within the KSU SGA and give the Student Senate the authority to delegate tasks to the committee. Whereas the number of student senators serving on this committee shall be reduced to 6. Whereas the Strategic Oversight Committee will now have the authority to assist members of the KSUSGA, which includes any student enrolled in at least 1 credit hour on the Manhattan campus, with enacting legislative solutions. Whereas the Strategic Oversight Committee will serve as a major resource for senators, cabinet directors, and students to address issues they see on campus. Whereas hosting town halls focused on the legislative branch will increase the transparency of KSU SGA and help students be more informed about the resources that are available to them. Whereas the Strategic Oversight Committee shall provide financial oversight in support of standing committee chairs and the Speaker Pro Tempore. And whereas previous chairs of the Strategic Oversight Committee, the Speaker Pro Tempore, and the newly elected Speaker of the Student Senate were consulted during the creation of these bylaws. So I will summarize here. Everything that I just read is just my reasoning behind the bill. Under being enacted that, Article 4, Section 11, subsection K is going to be completely struck and replaced with everything that follows. So some of it's staying the same, but most of it is completely rewritten. So just kind of a brief overview. Here at the beginning, the Strategic Oversight Standing Committee shall execute objectives of the KSU SGA and provide independent financial oversight for the KSU SGA as specified in KSU SGA statutes. This is just explaining overall what the committee is going to do. One is just saying that there's 6 voting members on the chair, and then a quorum is just a majority of those voting members. 2 is the membership. It will include the chair, at least 6 senators, students at large, and then non-voting ex officio members. So there will be members of the executive branch appointed by the student body president, and there's also the opportunity for members of the judicial branch to be appointed as well if they're working on issues that makes it worth it. 3, the committee shall execute the strategic plan. This is largely what they did before, but anything that's within the strategic plan is the Strategic Oversight Committee has the authority to go about enacting, basically. B, they can amend the strategic plan. That makes sense. They're the ones that have authority over it. C is where it's all new, so I will read through this. They're going to foster connections between the KSU SGA and the student body. I serve as a liaison for student senators, members of the student body, president's cabinet, and students at large to advance policy issues to the KSU SGA. 1, discuss public policy issues during meetings of the committee. 2, at the discretion of the chair, it will facilitate connections with members of the university administration or officers of KSU SGA. 3, the committee shall author or sponsor legislation proposed by members of the KSU SGA, which includes all students here per our Constitution. If you didn't know that, I just found that out myself. And then 2, they're going to host semesterly town halls where they're going to discuss general information about the structure of KSU SGA. They're going to have presentations about the 5 other Student Senate standing committees, and then they'll provide an overview of all legislation passed in the current term. D, they're going to provide oversight to funds under the authority of KSU SGA. So if this passes, we will probably write amendments to our statutes to kind of explain the auditing process overall. But the committee shall perform audits kind of in conjunction with the Speaker Pro Tem on student activity fee funding. And then they shall also monitor the enactment of previous EOF and SCTE funds. So those are managed by Tuition Enhancements Committee. E, they're going to manage member initiatives, referenda, and plebiscites. That's largely what they were doing before. And then 4, it is changed. So the chair is no longer the chief editor of the strategic plan. That is something that will be passed by the Senate moving forward. But their jobs entail ensuring that all committee responsibilities are met, assigning responsibilities to committee members, ensuring that the committee complies with requirements to provide, archive, and request reports, documentation, and data, whether that's storing things within KSU SGA archives, the strategic plan, or probably not its own internal archives, but whatever's necessary. And then they're going to coordinate with agencies, branches, committees, and others as needed. I know there's questions out there, so.
Senator Alvarez.
So let's go to section 2, where it talks about members of the executive and the judicial. How many of them, do you want to be specific on how many are going to serve on this one? Because I know in the CEC one, it is specific on 2 members.
Mm-hmm. These members are non-voting, and my plan was originally to appoint 2 members, but I think that it's better just to leave it broad and maybe adjust the bylaws of the cabinet as far as how many members they want to appoint and things like that. So the goal here is that every year there's at least a number greater than 1 members of the executive branch, and I mean that could be any member of the executive branch. It could be student body president, chief of staff, or just cabinet directors to serve on this committee and kind of work on issues that KSU SGA as a whole is doing and kind of have that interbranch collaboration and moving forward as one organization. We included judicial in there. Traditionally, judicial has done their own thing. For those of you that are new or maybe don't know what the judicial branch does, their job is mainly the student code of conduct and reviewing student code of conduct violations. So if you violate the student code of conduct, most common example is probably like getting in a minor in possession in the dorm or something like that, then you will then have your case seen by the judicial branch. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, but yeah. So there are some other things that judicial branch does. Sometimes they're part of the parking review board and things like that. And we just feel that like maybe if there's a major overhaul of the student code of conduct, that there might be moments in which it is necessary for members of that branch to serve on this committee as well. But it's not required, which is why we kind of worded it the way it is.
Senator Clark.
Would that also apply under section 1 when you are referencing what the amendment would read as follows? Under the strategic oversight committee chair, at least 6 student senators and students at large. There's no specific number, but that what you were saying was that also apply to students at large.
Yeah, so students at large, on student senate standing committees, some of them have a specified number of students at large that can sit on them. So like I'm previously chaired the student allocations committee, we could have 4 members at large. The student service fee could have, I think, 3 or something like that. With the strategic oversight committee, it's not necessary to cap it because really they don't vote on a lot of things that it's important to be within this legislative body for. So we've left that there blank, and that's what it was before. Yeah. Any questions about what the Strategic Oversight Committee does?
Parliamentary Coke.
So let me scroll down so people can see. So one of the things on here is looking at the enactment of the funds that tech funds, pretty much. Why give that to SOC instead of having tech oversee?
I will say, well, one place I probably did drop the ball on writing this, I consulted with a lot of people. I did not consult with tech. But from my understanding of it is, and just kind of overall for the funds of KSU SGA, myself and Speaker Pro Tem Lee, it's our job to oversee the allocation of funds to affiliated student orgs. So everything that's under the big umbrella of the student service fee from the rec, union, Lafine, they're covered by internal audit. So they're looking at all of their finances and things like that to make sure that student dollars are being spent how they're supposed to be spent. When it comes to sponsored student organizations, so those are your orgs that are really close with the university, they work with their departments a lot. Those groups they're in theory audited by internal audit as well. So when we pass an allocation to them, they have to follow our rules basically. For affiliated student orgs, we write them a check and the check's just kind of out there. So if they say we're gonna travel to this event, give us $3,000, we give them $3,000 and they don't go, that $3,000 is just out there allocated to that organization for an event they did not go on to. So we felt it necessary to add in another layer of auditing that was not necessarily the most feasible to be performed by the Speaker Pro Tem and committee chairs. The enactment of EOF funds and SCTE funds, from my understanding of this, correct me if I'm wrong, but those are from the Tuition Enhancements Committee. They come from tuition dollars. When we pass the legislation through Senate, it is a recommendation to the university to allocate these funds as in this way. And sometimes it's multi-year projects if they are large projects. So this is just simply saying that, hey, we're allocating this, we're recommending that the university allocates this money in a given way. We think that the Strategic Oversight Committee can play a role in making sure that it is properly allocated in that way, and if not, having a way of reporting back to the Student Senate. And I don't know if that's previously something that's been assigned to the chair of tech or not, but I think moving forward, we want the Strategic Oversight Committee to kind of be like having that oversight of everything that SGA does.
Are there any other questions for the author? Okay, thanks, Max. We will now move into general orders. Tonight we will be electing Speaker Pro Tempore. Parliamentarian Koch and I have been chatting a little bit about what was shared. And so after the first round of votes, if we don't reach a majority, we will go straight into the second ballot. We don't have to, by our governing documents, have to keep debating. And since there's nothing in our governing documents about that, we fall back onto Robert's Rules of Order, and they say that you go straight into the next round of voting.
That being said, if people do want more discussion, that does require a motion. But also, if you guys want to, you can. Like I said, we're not forcing anything.
Is there a motion? My bad. We'll now start general orders. So is there a motion to open the floor for nominations? Senator Jones.
I move to open the floor for nominations. Second.
Are there any nominations for Speaker Pro Tempore? Senator Freeman?
I nominate Senator Eppard.
I accept.
Sorry, I was supposed to ask that. My bad. Do you accept?
Yes.
Awesome. Senator Eppard?
I nominate Senator Clark.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Senator Clark?
I nominate Senator Freeman.
Do you accept?
Yes.
Awesome. Are there any further nominations for Speaker Pro Tempore? Senator Pritchard?
I nominate Senator Sands.
Do you accept?
I decline.
Okay. Are there any further nominations? Is there a nomination to close the floor? Is there a motion to close the floor for nominations? Senator O'Farrell.
I move to close the floor for nominations.
Second.
Awesome. Will the three candidates please join me at the front?
They're going to speak.
Okay, I'm actually not standing up because I don't have to flip a coin, but look at all of these nice ads. It said it was free, and we can definitely tell that it is.
H&R Block is really good for tax. It's tax season.
What we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel. Whoever's name it lands on first, I'll ask them if they want to speak first, second, or third. And then we'll spin the wheel again. And the second person that gets their name landed on will get the choice between the final two positions. And then whoever doesn't get selected by the wheel will have that last position for presentations. Does that sound good for everyone? Does that sound good for y'all? Okay. Spin that wheel! Yes! That was close. Brady?
I'll go third.
Okay. One more time.
I'll go first.
Okay. And then Emily will be going second. Does someone? No. Sorry. Senator Freeman and Senator Clark, if you could go hang out in the spy office, that would be awesome. And someone will be coming to get you after Dax.
Yeah, it works. Then I'll start with,
Okay. Can you hear me pretty well? All right, I guess I'll start. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dax Eppard, and I'm obviously standing up here running for Speaker Pro Tem.
Sorry.
So for those of you who don't know me, I am a mechanical engineering major. I'm also doing a minor in political science, and I'm also doing pre-law. I'm from Scottsdale, Arizona, and the first thing everyone says is, okay, so why did you go to K-State? So my dad is from Colby, Kansas, and we have a family farm there. So every summer I would go and help on that farm, harvesting, driving the combine, driving the grain truck, things like that. And then over the last couple of years, my dad has started to take over the family farm from my grandparents, and he's the fourth generation on that farm. And then why K-State over KU is my sister and I are both the fourth generation to be here at K-State. So far at K-State, I'm involved in Theta Xi fraternity here, the quarter scale tractor team, pre-law ambassadors, and at the start of last semester, I started getting involved in student government. I did the SGA Emerging Leaders Program, which I know a lot of the new members here also did. I was lucky to have actually 2 mentors in that because one of them left to go to California after the end of the semester. But both of them were very knowledgeable. Both were committee chairs and they knew a lot. Unfortunately, they're both graduating. But I was also a member of the Strategic Oversight Committee, which we were just talking about with the new rule changes. One of the big things that we focused on last term in that committee as an at-large member was we did like a survey figuring out what people liked so far on campus and what we need to improve on. So I asked like how much to use things like the rec, Lafine, Cat's Cupboard, things like that, or like what the biggest problems are on campus. Not surprisingly, the biggest problem they said was parking. That's obviously a complicated issue, but it's very good to hear what the student body actually thinks we need to improve on. So overall, what the Speaker Pro Tem does, there's all the main responsibilities that they have. The best way that I would explain it is just assisting the speaker and in his job, help working with the caucus leaders, and certifying and mailing all legislation. But it's mainly assisting the speaker, I think, is a huge part of it. But I also think that a good Speaker Pro Tem, it would go beyond that. The things I want to focus on are communication, getting involvement, and then overall the success in the Senate. So the main thing with communication, I want to start out with trying to increase communication between the deans of each of the colleges, and then also the college caucuses and their leaders. The thing about the college caucuses is that they're all very different. Some have only like 1, 2, or 3 people. I know some like engineering and business are like 10, 11, 12 people. So they're very different. Some have great relations with their deans. Some don't really talk to them that much. But that's one thing I want to focus on is trying to build those communications so they can have meetings with the deans of their colleges when they need to, because obviously they're representing their college and these are the main members of faculty in that college. Another thing that I want to continue to do is regular meetings with the college caucus leaders. I think this is a great way to see how each college is doing, if there's any specific issues within a college that need to be addressed, or if there are certain issues that are consistent across multiple colleges to help give the best experience for the student body. And also I think it's a great way to hear how everyone's doing. The college caucuses, you can kind of get to know a lot of people in your major. And it's a great way to try to hear like, are people busy, how they're doing with their life, with school, all those kind of things. The next thing is trying to build more awareness with the student body. I feel like a lot of us probably had this very similar experience where you said you're either running for Senate or you're in Senate or you're in student government or something like that. And they say, okay, so what do you do? What does Senate look like? Or even like, we have a Senate. A lot of people don't even know that. So I think an important thing is trying to build that awareness. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier today, having town halls I think is really important. Obviously, as a student body as a whole, having town halls, but also within each college, trying to build more awareness within the college and have it so that a lot of the average student knows that there are senators to talk to, and that when they have issues, there's people that can help solve those issues. Another thing I think is tabling, just tabling outside at the Union or the Plaza. These are great ways to spread more awareness to the average student so they know more about student government. And another thing is advocating the student needs to administration. Administration, faculty, and the student body, we're all a part of K-State, and we all want what's best for K-State. But sometimes what we want is not always what administration wants. And I think it's important that we build a stronger connection working with the speaker, the executive branch, and with our advisors to help have our voice heard more and getting involved more in the committees that make these decisions for administration. And then next I want to talk about is office hours. So for those of you who don't know, there's like the spy room over there. It's like the main place for student government. And there's an office for the speaker pro tem. One of the things that I want to do is increase office hours, because I believe right now it's around 1 or 2 days a week. Ideally, I want to try to get up to around 4 days a week, just so I'm more available. And if you have questions or just want to talk, you can come in there and talk. Another thing I want to do is continue the open door policy, which the current speaker pro tem is already doing. This is something that in my fraternity, we actually have for like the whole house, that you have to keep your door open all the time. And I think it's a very great thing because then you can just walk around and just talk to people that you normally wouldn't. So I think it's a great way to continue to build that openness and for all of us to connect more as senators. And just like going in there and meeting, like if you're eating in the union or you want to get homework done, you don't want to go to Hale, just stopping by and getting that done in the SPY and just building a relationship outside of Senate. And going into that is I want to meet with every senator. I've already met with a lot of you, and I've known a lot of you over the past few months. But I think it's important not only just to know like what issues you think we need to improve on campus, but more importantly, who you are as a person, like what your interests are, where you're from, just learning more about you. And then along with that is just having check-ins throughout the year to see how things are going, because obviously things are going to change over the next year in your life. And then the next thing I want to do is having more events outside of Senate. So this could look like going to a baseball game or just getting dinner after Senate, but trying to build that relationship outside of here so you actually make friends that last a long time. That's one of the best things that I've experienced so far in being a student government, are like the friendships that I get to make. And now I'm talking about involvement. I know one of the committees already does this, but I think it's important to have the committees assign legislation to different members in their committee. And then having the returning senators who are more experienced help write the legislation with newer members. Because that's one thing that's kind of hard. If you're a new senator, you don't really know how to write legislation. And even having those workshops is important, but having real legislation that's actually going to affect the student body that we're actually going to vote on, I think it's a great experience, and it will help prepare new senators and kind of flatten like the learning curve that it takes to become a new senator. And then along with that is spreading the institutional knowledge. A lot of times it's the juniors, the seniors, the people who are graduating soon that know the most about student government. And that's obviously great that they have all this experience, but if they graduate and they don't share that experience with the newer senators, that can leave us in a bad spot. So I think it's important that you build those relationships with the people who have knowledge and they're able to share it with the new senators so that when the older people graduate, that there is someone right there to step up and take those positions. Because obviously going to be a learning curve when it comes to taking like a chair, becoming a committee chair or a position like that. So we want that to be as easy as possible to transfer. And the last thing, which I think is super important, is creating an open environment. One of the things that I've observed over the past few months is that it's oftentimes the same people who come up and debate. And I think the biggest reason for that is that sure, some people just don't like to share their ideas. But I think a lot of times it's people don't feel comfortable sharing their ideas, or that they feel like they're going to be judged if they share an idea that's like less popular. So I think an important thing is we kind of build that friendship amongst all of us, so that it's not like, oh, this is someone you're a senator with, but someone you're actually friends with, so you're more comfortable sharing those ideas. Because ultimately, like, we're here to represent the student body. And if we don't feel comfortable sharing our ideas, then the student body is not being represented. And the last thing is, what overall does success in Senate look like? I think the number one most important thing is that we're actually excited to come to Senate. Senate's going to take, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours every Thursday, and they're also involved in a committee. This is a major time commitment for all of us. And you don't want to be something that's boring. Like, if you're like, oh, what are you doing on your Thursday night? Oh, I'm going to Senate, and you're kind of sad about it. That's obviously not good. So we want to build an environment so we're actually excited to come, build those relationships, and have a good environment. And another thing I think that's important is that we're going to have bills and legislation that are controversial. We're going to disagree. And there's 2 ways that we can end up handling this. One way is it becomes an argument. And it's, oh, you have a different opinion than me. And because of that, I'm kind of mad at you. I don't like that. And you handle it in a bad way. The other way is you have a conversation. You have that relationship with them already, like knowing that they want what's best for the student body. And even if they have a different opinion, there's a reason for that. So it's having those conversations instead of having this making enemies or having those arguments. And then going back to the idea of setting up the future of Senate, just building, having a lot of experience spread out for the younger members, the newer members of Senate, I think is important. So I want to see, I think if we're looking back on Senate, is it successful? It's if a lot of the newer senators are heavily involved, going up and speaking, and they have the experience so that in the future they could have committee chair roles. And then the last thing is a strong communication between the student body and faculty. The best way I view this is that we're like the middleman. The student body, there's them, and then there's...
Speaker's time has expired.
Senator Perry.
I move to extend the speaker's time by 1 minute.
Second.
You have the student body, and you have faculty and administration. We're kind of the middleman. We have to understand what the student body actually wants, and we have to effectively share that with faculty and administration. And then the other way is administration and faculty, they're going to have to make tough decisions that may not be, it's the right decision, but it may not sound the best. So for example, with parking, there's not really going to be a decision that makes every student happy. So being able to understand that and then share it back to the student body so there's understanding, I think, is really important. All right, thank you. I guess time for questions.
Senator Black.
Yeah, you talked about spreading institutional knowledge. How does electing you as Speaker Pro Tem help facilitate the trickle down of that?
Well, the first part is I'm a freshman. I've done a lot, and we'll try to get involved a lot in Senate over the past few months. Obviously, being a committee and then emerging leader program. I think the first thing is that I'm a younger member, so that's part of it. And also, since I'm a younger member and I'm friends with a lot of new members, I know what they know, what they don't know. So helping, let's say with legislation, are they struggling with understanding how to write that? Then I can help plan a workshop for that. Or if you try to learn more about committees, I can work with the newer members to help do that. Also, another thing is being a part of being Speaker Pro Tem, you're on exec, so you're obviously working with and help selecting the committee chairs. So just communicating with them to help them try to get newer members involved is really important. Obviously, the same thing with the college caucus leaders, trying to build those relationships with the more experienced people within your caucus, with the newer members, just trying to work with them so that everyone can get involved in it.
Senator Conrad.
What ideas do you have for facilitating the fall leadership retreat as listed in the governing documents underneath your duties?
Wait, can you say that?
The fall leadership retreat.
I guess I don't know specifically the ideas for that, but that's something I would want to work with the speaker on to help us find something where it's not just random leadership, but leadership that you can directly reapply to Senate. So I guess focusing on communication and building those skills of trying to get everyone involved. And then, obviously one of the most important things in leadership is having everyone feel welcomed. So I'll try to find a retreat where you're able to help teach these valuable skills.
Senator Bailey.
Yeah, so you said you're a freshman here. Your time in Senate has been very brief. My question is, why might you stand out as a candidate compared to other people that might have more experience in Senate? And how do you feel that you have the experience to prepare you for this role in the Senate?
All right, that's a good question. So part of it is I've already tried to be very involved. I've tried to go on to every Senate since November. I've been involved in a committee. I've had two great mentors who've had a lot of experience that I've been able to learn a lot from. I think that's a huge part of it. There's been multiple people who have said, "Oh, I forgot you're not a senator yet," or stuff like that. So I think a big part is even though I've technically been a senator, I've been involved a lot. I've tried to be involved over the past few months. And also I've had a lot of different leadership experiences throughout my life and in high school that I think will transfer over here. And then also just being involved on campus is a huge thing. I feel like I have a good understanding of what the student body needs and being able to connect to those people.
Are there any further questions for Senator Eppert? Okay, thank you. What did you guys do last week during this awkward time? Okay, awesome. Perfect. Have some doom scrolling time if you.
Let's put Carson on the hot seat. Ask us all your toughest questions to Carson.
Yeah, honestly. Who was playing Temple Run last week?
Scipiona? Scipiona was.
Oh. We could watch
yeah,
that.
just
I don't think so.
Oh.
That's not my job.
You don't get one.
It's not mine.
Is it on now?
All right, let's go ahead and focus back in for Senator Freeman.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Thank you all for taking the consideration, and I'm excited to be up here running for Speaker Pro Temp. Like we said, my name is Emily Freeman. A little bit about me is I was born and raised in Springdale, Arkansas. If you know where the University of Arkansas is, you're basically there. I am majoring in political science as well as a minor in leadership studies and working towards a certificate in nonprofit leadership. My involvements on campus are a little bit vast, but one of the most important to me is hands-on K-State, where about once a month we have a mobile food distribution and we pass out thousands of pounds of food to family in the communities. I think last time was 175 families reached. I'm also a student manager at We Fall Cornerstone, where I get to meet students from campus and grow a connection with them and really just explore their lives too. As well as I'm involved in the KSU nonprofit program, where we get real world and hands-on experience about learning about nonprofits and how those run. And of course, I'm involved in the Student Governing Association here. Let's talk a little bit about my why. This is my driving force, and that's my friends and my family. They are my biggest advocates and my supporters, and they've instilled in this idea of me of community and giving back to others so that when I need it, I have someone to fall back on. And that's really my role in my life, is that I go for, is to give back to others and serve others in the best way that I possibly can. Of course, to recharge my own batteries and be able to fulfill my duties and reflect into others. I like to do arts and crafts, and I like to go on hikes and walks as well as read and write a little bit. My time in Senate is a little bit unique, but it started out pretty standard. Fall of 2024, my freshman year, I was an emerging leader where I completed phase 1 and 2. And then in spring of 2025, I was elected into the College of Arts and Science, and it was there I stepped up and served as the Arts and Science Caucus leader. And then what's unique about my role is I was on the Joint Committee for Officer Compensation. This is a committee that only meets every 3 years, and we dive into all of the SGA roles and look into our governing docs and our statutes and see how we want officers to be compensated as well as how much. My role in this was reaching out to former officers and collecting data so we could make an informed decision. I believe we deliberated for about 8 weeks until we were able to come to a conclusion. And then in spring of 2026, I was reelected. So what is Speaker Pro Temp? Of course, there's the duties outlined in our governing docs, and there's the things that they have to do in the day-to-day things, but all of these really boil down into the role. And I see this as a mentor, communicator, organizer, planner, facilitator, and of course, a servant leader. That mentorship comes with the caucus leaders and getting to know students about what their passions are and helping them and serving them the best way possible, as well as communicating with faculty and staff and hearing what they need, as well as passing on what we're doing as a body to them and what they're doing to you guys, as well as organizing and planning. They're planning first open period speakers, and they're working to get through the minutes and type that up, as well as passing all that information along, and they're facilitating. They're not doing the brunt of the student service work, but they're going from person to person and making sure that process is happening, as well as something that we all are as servant leaders. None of us came here wanting something out of this. We saw a need for our voice to be heard, and that's why we're here. And we're serving leaders and serving our students with their best interests at the forefront of our hearts. Now, this past term, as you remember, we had to really rewrite our governing docs and how we operated as a Senate. And those were really important, and it really had to shape how we funded. And now it's time to take what we've done and use these awesome duties to keep students at our interest in mind. And we can do this through several things, but moving forward, as Pro Temp, they're in charge of the caucus system. And for me and me serving as a caucus leader, I had the really good experience of getting to work with students, and mobilizing those caucus leaders is really going to allow for work to be done. And I think something that is really important for us to focus on is having clear, attainable goals. Where can we see how far have we gone, and how far do we have to go to reach these goals? We also, I think structured caucus time would be really beneficial for this body. We can take this time that's set aside for us and do good with it. What's happening in my college that I need help with, as well as what's happening in your college and how can I do that? And having a little bit of collaboration. And also something that happened for me was we had parking services brought to our caucus leader meeting where we got to bounce ideas off of them and have this one-on-one experience and share where we thought we should go and how they should proceed. And I think bringing guests to our caucus leader meetings would be beneficial to getting that success and having a student input in what's happening. Something else the Pro Temp does is organize the first open period speakers. And this is a time where I believe we should be able to teach, learn, and help. I think having these beneficial people such as Lafine and when Dr. Linton came in parking services really taught us what our money was going to and how our funds were going to and what our students' dollars were going to. But I think something that could be beneficial for this body is having people come in and teaching us how to be better leaders, whether this is deans coming in from their colleges or people from this daily school, but providing leadership skills to us that we can use furthering this body and furthering our students' needs. And also a time to help. Maybe this is inviting Attorney General to come in and share what student issues they're seeing, or bringing in a cabinet director or chief of staff saying, these are our initiatives that are happening, and this is where we need your help, or this is what you can do to help us, and how we can have this a little bit of cross-branch collaboration, but also keeping students at that forefront of our minds. And probably the most important is being informed, whether that's informing our students what their money is going to, or informing ourselves. Having these open and informal conversations really allows for a connection to be fostered. I think something that's important for me was hearing my peers complain about parking tickets. Okay, well, SGA has a Court of Appeals and the Board of Appeals, and you can appeal your citation and see what's happening. And so reminding them that SGA is here for you really builds that face-to-face connection. So then when we go and they see their social media posts and they're reminded, oh my gosh, I have this face-to-face connection and I know my voice is being heard and I know my issues are being thought about. Also, engaging in lively debate. Dr. Jackson said it best a few weeks ago that when we're debating, we're showing thought going through stuff. We're not just putting money wherever best someone said, but we're thinking it through and really getting down to the points. And you can't really make an informed decision without hearing both sides of the story. So having this debate is essential to being able to make good decisions that keep our students' best interest at mind. And of course, asking questions. What do I need to know to be successful? As a leader, it's important to be held accountable, whether that's holding yourself accountable or letting other people hold you accountable. And as Pro Temp, I will continue the legacy of keeping an open door policy, knowing that you can always come to me or whoever the Pro Temp is and ask a question or have a need that needs to be met. And also knowing that I'm just an email away. Do you have something that your time might not work for mine, but we can find a time that will work for both of us. And consistency. Showing up when you say you're going to show up is so important. It allows for leaders to know that their voices are being heard, as well as fosters a relationship with that connection. And questions, asking, how are you? What's up? Do you need anything from me? Can I give you anything? Stuff like that. And asking for help, knowing that you're human and you won't know all the answers. But how can you get to the answers? Who will know that answer? And building that connection, part of that facilitator and mentorship role that Pro Temp has. With these points, I'm confident in this body's ability to move into an era of leading with a student-focused mindset. Thank you all for taking the consideration to listen to me and consider all the candidates. With that, I will yield to questions.
Are there any questions for Senator Freeman? Senator Miller.
How do you plan to manage your time so that you can fully commit to the duties of host speaker?
Yeah, so I'm a very list-oriented person, so I make a to-do list and I like to check off the boxes. So having that and keeping my priorities straight, and Pro Temp will always be at the first of that. But something that's really nice about having an on-campus job is they're flexible with your student schedule, and they know that I'm probably not going to want to be a barista for the rest of my life, and I just need a little bit of income. But they allow me to flex my schedule and say, you have this ambition, we want you to go for that.
Any other questions? Senator Brown.
So seeing as how managing the caucus leaders is one of the most important roles to the Pro Temp, how are you going to make sure that the caucus leaders have tools they need to succeed, as well as representing all the different areas on campus?
Yeah, I think that starts with day one and really being able to ask, what is your issue and what is your niche and what do you see is important, but also allowing for cross college collaboration. And maybe Art Sci has a solution to education and you guys can work together on that and pushing that together and working with caucuses. And part of the structured caucus time would look like maybe engineering goes with education and they say, this is what we're working on, how can you help us? And holding those town halls and being those supportive, as well as having the clear goals and timelines laid out and checking in with you to hold you accountable, but also you hold me accountable.
Senator Black.
Emily, how do we go about transferring this institutional knowledge to our younger members?
Yeah, I think a lot of that starts with emerging leaders and bringing them in. I think it's incredible that we have 2 emerging leaders running for this role. I know last year I would not have felt brave enough to do this, and I think Emerging Leader Coordinator Zacho has done a fantastic job with that and educating, but really doing that and fostering these connections with younger members and inviting them to Senate and inviting your peers saying, hey, this is what's happening in Senate. Why don't you come along, sit with me in Wildcat Chambers, and I'll help you and explain what's going on. But also not being afraid to answer questions and ask questions to others and just building a connection with one another so that we can work together as a body.
Senator Winter. Oh, did you have a follow-up?
No.
Okay.
Hi, Emily. I was just kind of wondering, because you touched on it in your slides a little bit, what is your plan to actually ensure that those students are engaging and like that engagement continues?
Yeah, like I was talking about these face-to-face connections. Meeting with someone face-to-face and holding eye contact and having these conversations shows that you care and letting those students know that you care. So then, like I was talking about, when you go and you see in the social media posts, you can have this relationship. Because I think we've done a fantastic job and Cappy Hoding has done a phenomenal job with our social media, but at the end of the day, everyone's gonna scroll. So if we have that face-to-face connection and that reminder that someone cares, that will keep our students engaged.
Senator Black.
Yeah. From year 1 to year 2, what experiences do you feel like you've had that has made you be like, I am ready to run for Speaker Pro Tem?
Yeah, I think honestly, it was JCOC really sealed the deal for me. That was a lengthy process and I dived into every single position and being able to say, this position does this and I know that. And I saw Pro Temp as a way for me. I knew I could fit this mold, but I also knew I could prosper out of that and grow. And like those roles I was talking about, really fill that and grow beyond that and engage with students through that.
Are there any further questions? Senator Brown.
Could you explain a little bit about what JCOC is and how your role on that?
Yeah, so JCOC is, like I was talking about, this committee that meets every 3 years and they decide how officers are compensated as well as how much they're compensated and how they want to go about that and setting the precedent for further years. My role was talking to other officers, so if you were a chair last year or a former officer, you probably saw my emailing you a lot, asking you to fill out our surveys, but seeing how much the time commitment is and seeing what your legislative duties are. And so then as a committee, I believe there are 5 of us, and we could go forward and decide, okay, we all agree on this. This is how we want to be compensated. This is how we want them to be compensated. And all this effort, I think there was 8 weeks of deliberation before we presented our resolution.
Are there any further questions? Senator Kramer.
Yeah, so you said that you like to do arts and crafts earlier. What would you say is your favorite arts and crafts one?
Probably watercolor right now. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying.
Are there any further questions? Senator Zacho.
How do you envision leading the fall retreat that's stated in our statutes?
Yeah, so working with former Pro Temp Lee, hopefully he can give me some guidance on that and so we can get the ball rolling on that. Probably asking for others' opinions because I think we all as a group should be having an input and getting a say in that. If you have ideas about that, I'd love to hear them later.
Time for questions has expired.
Is there a motion to extend the speaker's time? Okay. Thank you, Emily.
Of course.
More awkward silence. Who's excited? Yay!
Let's share stories now. Good stories to tell. Huh?
What's your favorite story?
What story do you want to hear?
What's a secret you've never told anyone?
The secret. What's my deepest, darkest secret? Oh, the story behind meatball. I'll tell the story about why meatball became a thing. So Sam and we're in DC this summer as Flintstone Fellows, and we go to New York City, and we're like, wow, the big city, how cool. We went to go see the Empire State Building, and I looked outside, I said, wow, this is a really tall building, how cool. And I said, okay, goodbye, let's go. I thought it was gonna be cooler. But on our way to the Empire State Building, we rode a hot metro, and we saw a guy wearing a daddy's little meatball shirt, or mommy's little meatball shirt, and I said, oh my god, I need that. So we went to a tourist trap souvenir shop and bought a shirt. We got matching ones, mommy's and daddy's little meatball shirts, and then we wore them out to Times Square together. And then we took pictures, and everyone stared and laughed at us, and then we got a big slice of New York style pizza for $1. Yep. Yes, little meatball story time.
$1 in this economy, that's
bro. I know New York, of all places. I know New York was cheaper than DC at some times. I thought it was very interesting. Hello, Ella. How are you here? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I remember now. Stay forever. You should join Senate. Okay, Ann. Stay. Don't go to law school. Stay here. Okay. Can I read it? I'm curious.
Okay, let's all focus back in to give Senator Clark our attention.
Thank you, Speaker Rudd. So, hello guys, good evening. A little bit about me is I am a freshman here, and I'm studying biomedical engineering. First, my name is Brady Clark, and I am from Topeka, Kansas, minoring in dance and Spanish with biomedical engineering, of course. And a little bit about me inside K-State is I'm actively involved. I'm on our swim team. It's a club team, but I'm also a senator here, and I served as our PR and outreach director for student health student health advisory committee for the director of student health and well-being. And then a little bit outside of K-State, I just wrapped up being a legislative intern for a state senator. She's right there. She's amazing. And I learned a lot about the legislative process statewide that I feel like I could bring to the Speaker Pro Tempore role. And then I am an advocate at a national and state level, primarily for two things, substance abuse and mental health. And I'm truly passionate about those, and I advocate, again, national and statewide. So I feel like I could bring an advocacy look to the Speaker Pro Tempore role as well. And then what I think the Pro Tempore role is chamber and out-of-chamber operations, and I think that's heavy, an operational look on it. And then I also think it's very heavy on senator support, not just me supporting you guys, but you guys supporting us. I mean, we are having an election for Speaker Pro Temp, and we had an election for our speaker, so I think those are some of the ways you guys support us. And then finally, efficiency and structure, and I would even go farther into that and say organization, and I would consider myself a mild OCD type A person that, you know, I could bring that side of organization, which would then hopefully excel into efficiency. And then what the Pro Tempore, I'm not going to lecture about this because I'm sure you all know what it is, but according to the Constitution, specifically Article 4, Section 405B, it highlights these, you know, more broad, and then it goes in depth in the bylaws, specifically Article 4, Section 2B, so you can look those up if you want, or if you were a psycho and printed out all the governing docs like me, you can flip through them. And then finally, I want to touch over my initiatives. So, fun fact, I didn't actually mean to do taco. I was just thinking about things that I was truly passionate about. And then it hit me later that night. I was like, oh my gosh, my one true love, Taco Bell, it somehow ends up in my campaign. And so it touches on transparency, accessibility, collaboration, and operations. Now there's a long list of things I want to do, but these are the 4 things that I truly want to dive in on. And so this is a little bit about the transparency. I think we could booster the legislative tracking system. I think we could even add a journal of the Senate, which acts like the meeting minutes, and then a Senate calendar, which acts like the agenda. If you've ever seen one of these, it lists all the bills in a short title and description. And then communication, just furthering communication. I loved Senator Edgar and Speaker Pro Tem Lee's Senate recap, and I would want to do a weekly thing of that. And then visibility, making there's a floor board shown during the meeting about what the bills that are going to be voted on. Excuse me. Accessibility, there's 2 I want to focus on, is legislative writing and onboarding. I want this to feel like a job for new senators, so like having an onboarding process, trying to get you ready for this role. I mean, I can say as new senator that I am still trying to figure things out, and I'm kind of like intimidated by a lot of re-elected senators in the room, and I feel like I could add a sense of that since I am a freshman senator. And then collaboration, senator support, and feedback systems. I want there to be a semesterly, like at the end of the semester, I like contact you guys and see what you guys like, see what you want differently for next semester. And then the biggest thing that I think is truly, says Speaker Pro Tempore, is the operations competency. This would add floor management. So like I said, the floor board showing like what bill is being debated on right now, the vote count, if it passed or not. If you've ever been in the Kansas House chamber, it'd work like that. A debate structure, keeping the key of that for the Journal of the Senate, and then a voting system. And you can read about it, you can take pictures. And meeting efficiency, making sure that we're as efficient as possible, because I think we all want to get out here at a reasonable time. Okay? And then finally, why I think I would be such a key person for this role is because I feel like I bring a lot of legislative background into this role, and I would want to be more of a legislative body and embody, like I'm walking into the Kansas Senate chamber. And then another thing is I love advocacy. I love advocating for other people. I love making voices for those who, may not feel like they have a seat at the table. So I feel like I would bring that. So thank you. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield for questions.
Senator Black.
You mentioned meeting efficiency. I guess, first question is, feel like it's something that's lacking within our current structure?
Good question. So with all of my initiatives, I'm not saying it lacks anywhere. I would just want to make it more efficient. Like I was in the Senate as an emerging leader this year, where a motion was made to vote on the bulk. And in a legislative term, it's voting on the balance. And so I would want to incorporate that, where like we do a weekly vote on the balance when we have a lot of bills scheduled. So it just is more pace, and Speaker Pro Tem doesn't have to just keep like roll calling votes. It can just be one big one. So that's like the main efficiency thing I see. Follow-up?
Follow-up.
Okay, granted.
How do you plan to do that statutorily? Because a lot of our bills require that it be a roll call vote.
It would still be a roll call vote. It would just be like, for example, let's say it's like a bunch of bills, and it would be like, no on this bill, aye on the balance. Like saying you only vote no on that one, and you were voting yes to all the others. Does that make sense?
I see now, yeah.
But it would still be a roll call. Sorry. Are there any other questions? Senator Black?
I don't remember if you spoke on institutional knowledge or not, but how do you go about helping facilitate the transfer of institutional knowledge from our older members to newer members, specifically in ways that electing you as pro tem is advantageous to accomplishing them?
Yeah, so as I said, I'm a freshman senator, so like I feel like I would want other people to help me along the way, because again, like I'm new to the system. And then in your little handouts, I mentioned in one of the initiatives talking about a toolkit for senators
So specifically, like advice from senior senators and like how to. Okay, I say that as like okay. Re-elected senators. Advice and different things like how to succeed as a senator, because again, it is an intimidating process. But yeah.
Are there any further questions? Okay, thank you. We will now begin debate for the candidates. So the order that we will debate in is the order that they presented in. So speakers will go in the order of Senator Eppard, Senator Freeman, and then Senator Clark. So we'll go ahead and kick this off. Is there a speaker for Senator Eppard? Parliamentarian Koch.
You know it. Don't worry, I promise I'm timing myself so I can hold myself accountable just like I can hold everyone else. All right. Whenever I think about the role of Speaker Pro Tempore of the Student Senate, I don't just think of a title. I think of a leader who is a listener, a collaborator, and is supportive. Someone who isn't just committed to the work, but also to the people doing the work. Someone who sees the big picture, but never overlooks the small moments that build our community. Our next Speaker Pro Tempore should be someone who is passionate about student government and who is driven to make SGA a more welcoming, effective, and more impactful organization for everyone. Someone who leads with intention, values every voice in the room, and is willing to put in the work behind the scenes to make sure we're all doing our jobs to the best we can. And that's exactly why I believe Dax is the best person for this role. I first met Dax when he joined the Strategic Oversight Committee last year, and I was immediately blown away by his willingness to learn and get involved. He didn't just sit back and observe, he leaned in. He consistently asked thoughtful questions about SGA and the initiatives that we were working on in committee, not just to understand, but to contribute meaningfully. Dax also came to Senate every single week and was one of the few emerging leaders who showed up consistently and stayed engaged. That level of commitment speaks volumes. It shows that he values this organization, respects the work we do, and is willing to invest his time and energy into making it better. What stands out even more than his consistency is his attitude. Dax approaches every space with openness, curiosity, and respect for others. He listens before he speaks, and when he does speak, it's with purpose. He is the kind of person who makes others feel comfortable contributing, and that is exactly the kind of environment we should continue building within Senate. As Speaker Pro Tempore, I have no doubt that Dax will not only rise to the responsibilities of this role, but also elevate the people around him. He will be the Pro Tempore that senators can go to for support, guidance, and collaboration. He will strengthen communication, build relationships, and ensure that every member of this body feels valued and heard. I believe that Dax has the leadership, work ethic, and heart to do exactly that. I am so proud and excited to support Dax Eppard for Speaker Pro Tempore, and I hope you will do the same.
I'm going to start using first names because I think that's less formal and makes them a little more human. Is there any speakers for Emily? Senator Ingle.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lily Ingle and now a senator in the College of AP Design. Today I stand before you not just as a fellow senator, but as someone who has been personally shaped by one of the most incredible people, Emily Freeman. I am honored to speak on her behalf as she seeks this new, amazing position of Speaker Pro Tem. Some or most of you may know her as a senator, caucus leader, or just an all-around dedicated student. But I want to share just a little bit of the side you might not see her as during Senate, The side of her that inspired me to even consider joining the Senate in the first place. Emily didn't just encourage or persuade me, but she has believed in me, sometimes even more than I do myself. She sat with me and listened to those chaotic days of freshman year, patiently explaining, guiding, and pushing me to strive to be the best version of myself. That encouragement doesn't go unnoticed. It marks who she is, selfless, supportive, and genuinely invested in others' success. We met on Instagram back when everyone was trying to find their roommates before freshman year. I will say she did stress me out a little bit because she was my #1 choice for a roommate, but the girl couldn't make up her mind of what college she was going to. I can now say how glad I am that she decided on Kansas State University because of the impact she has not only made on my life, but as well as everyone around her. Freshman year can be scary, but she made it so much easier and enjoyable. I was not expecting to have such a great freshman roommate and best friend all in one. And still to this day, living with her now for a year and a half, days are filled with laughter and gratefulness. Living with her has shown me more about her leadership than anything ever could. Emily is involved in so many things on campus I can't even keep track anymore. She leads not with authority or ego, but with empathy, thoughtfulness, and integrity. She listens not to just respond, but to understand and be there. She speaks not to just be heard, but to make others feel seen and valued. She acts not just for recognition, but because she knows what is right and believes in every single person around her circle. I'm sure, as you guys know, Emily takes the time to get to know everyone and create friendships with anyone she can. Serving as Speaker Pro Tem is more than just being Carson's right-hand man. It is about focusing on collaboration, building trust, and ensuring every voice in the room has the weight and value it deserves. I can say with absolute certainty that there is no one better equipped for this role than Emily. She balances thoughts with decisiveness, compassion with courage, and vision with action. She is the person who will make sure every senator, not just the loudest, feels heard, respected, and empowered to contribute to this Senate. I know I wouldn't be in this room today if it weren't for her. She would come home every Thursday and tell me all about what all of you were working on, and I could just see the love and care in her heart for making things better around campus and helping voices feel heard. I know when she leads, she will do so with the same care, dedication, and heart that she shows me and everyone around her day after day. Emily will be there every single time with every single one of you, whether that is just a quick chat, needing help, or a drive to get a Sonic drink. So I ask you today, as my peers who want to see the Senate thrive, to vote for someone who truly encompasses the value of service, empathy, and leadership. Vote for someone who will uplift this body, inspire, and lead with unwavering integrity. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for Brady? Will someone, okay.
I'll defer my speaking rights to Anna.
Is there an objection? Awesome. Come on up, Anna.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Anna Halstead. Some of you might remember me from Congress. I didn't really think I'd be back in the Wildcat Chambers on a Thursday night anytime soon, but I'm here for Brady and I'm happy to do it. I have not known Brady for a very long time, but I do feel like I am an expert witness to his character. Him and I spent a couple days together at Washburn University for the Leadership Challenge event. If you don't know what this is, it's an event where students are given a crisis scenario and they are assigned different roles. They're encouraged to collaborate, to engage in teamwork, and to ultimately come up with a solution to this crisis. And I can say a few things about Brady's character through leadership in times of crisis. First, he has an innate ability to stay calm in high-stress situations. He led the team with grace and composure like I haven't seen anyone else do before. He was able to maintain a sense of humor, calmness, and overall he really kept our ship rolling. He can balance humor while doing his job effectively. He is a fantastic communicator, and he ensured that we collaborated at any point. And he's truly passionate about what he does. I know that maybe his experience and his age in Senate might be a deterrent to some of you, but I can say without a doubt, he is going to pour his all into this role, and he is truly dedicated to anything that he decides to dip his feet into. So I truly hope that you all take his speech and my speech into consideration when you're voting for Speaker Pro Tempore. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for Dax? Senator Oliver.
All right. Hello, everybody. Sorry, it's first time up here. My name is Carter Oliver. I'm a new senator in the College of Arts and Sciences, and I'm here to speak with you today about who Dax Eppert is and why I believe he should be the next Senate Pro Tem. I believe I bring in a unique side of knowing Dax that many of you do not see. The Dax outside of Senate, who was my housemate and brother. I met him back in August when we joined our fraternity, and consistently, Dax has shown himself to be one of the hardest working and goal-driven individuals that I've ever met. He is driven in his studies and consistent in his values. Dax is always ready and willing to have a conversation, and I promise you, he does not do anything halfway or stop until it meets his very high standard. He is one of those people who is always trying to be more efficient, trying to one-up himself for a better idea, and he has kept me up for countless hours, many weeknights ever since we decided to run for Senate, and even before when he was an emerging leader, bouncing ideas off of me and anyone willing to listen to him. Additionally, as an emerging leader, saying things to me like, Carter, Senate is a place where I lost my spot. Carter, Senate is a place where we can make real change, and I want to be a part of that. And these people genuinely care a lot about K-State and its students. This is where we could actually make our mark. Always talking about his hopes and ideas for what he wants to accomplish as a senator. And more importantly, as Pro Tem. Dax is hungry to work with all of you and make a positive impact in Senate and for K-State in general. I admit I have much to learn about being a senator and the Senate as a whole, but I know what a good leader looks like, and I know what a good person looks like. Dax is one of them. Someone who is going to work harder than anyone around him and whose intentions are only for the good of others. And in this specific case, for the good of K-State and Senate. I cannot say enough about Dax's character and who he is as a friend and as a person. Honestly, he is a seriously rare individual. I hope you will take what I said into consideration today, and when you vote for Pro Temp, thank you.
Is there a speaker for Emily? Senator Barnes, sorry.
I'd like to defer my speaking rights to Ella Irwin.
Is there an objection? Okay, come on up, Ella.
Hello, for those of you who don't know me, I'm currently the Chancellor of Student Tribunal on the Judicial Board. I'm here to talk about Emily today. So I first met Emily whenever we worked on JCOC together, and through this experience, I got to get to know her as a person, but also see her incredible leadership abilities. Emily has a unique ability to make everyone feel heard and the ability to share their voice. She can give an alternate perspective without being disrespectful and makes you feel like you can voice what you feel is right. Emily is dedicated, hardworking, and she makes others better. She was a key player in JCOC committee in helping us stay organized and keeping our eyes on the prize of what we were working towards. What stood out to me most about Emily during our time on JCOC and throughout my friendship with her was her genuine care for this university. Emily cares about the students on this campus more than anyone I know. She wants everything to be done in their name, to be done in their best interests. Emily's a perfect candidate for Speaker Pro Temp because she embodies the leadership this position needs while prioritizing serving students. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for Brady? Senator Alvarez.
I'm going to defer my speaking rights to Nelia.
Is there an objection? Okay, come on up.
It would have been really awkward to sign rejection.
Understandable.
Hi, everyone. Hello, my name is Nelia Contreras, and I'm a senior here at K-State pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Theater and a secondary in Dance and the Human Experience. And I'm here to strongly recommend Brady Clark for Speaker Pro Temp. I've gotten the honor to work with Brady as a campus ambassador here at K-State. Campus ambassadors should welcome in new students to K-State. We're the first face they see whenever they come on K-State's campus. We show them around, we answer questions, really make them feel like they're a part of the K-State family initially. I've gotten the the opportunity to really watch him grow and develop into this role from his initial interview to being a fully trained ambassador, and it has just been the greatest reward ever. One thing about Brady is he is eager and excited to learn. He stepped on the team prepared to be a leader in a room full of leaders, taking quickly to programming and processes that were completely foreign to him, which is an essential skill for someone stepping into this role. He's an amazing member of the team, taking space to lead and also making room for others to do the same. On the administrative side, Brady brings something unique to the chambers and his experience as a legislative intern. He's not unfamiliar to being in the room where it happens, so to speak, and his knowledge from this experience to already prepare for the positive change and growth he hopes to bring to Senate while building on the amazing work that you have all worked so tirelessly to create. From the handouts distributed prior to his presentation to the binder filled with his already printed out bills and rules of Senate, Brady is not only excited, but I think totally prepared to step into this role, and I think that he would do an excellent job. Despite him being a freshman, he's someone who's going to be ready to step on, boots on the ground, and start running, and so I think that he is someone that I could strongly, confidently recommend to not only represent our student body, but the Senate as well. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Is there a speaker for Dax? Senator Perry.
You've heard a lot about Dax's character already, but for me personally, I'm more of a fan of long-term investments, so I'm going to talk about that. In a year where we've lost several key members of our organization, committee chairs, past and prior, it's time to start thinking about how best to prepare for our future. We've lost people who had years of institutional knowledge and experience that is hard to replace. But this is something all organizations go through, and SGA has done it many times before and will come out clean anyway. But I do feel that it is important to make the best change that we can for our organization. In the past, we've had a program, or at least a tradition of allowing a younger senator to become pro tem in order to get that experience on executive committees and be able to pass down that information down to younger senators that are recently joining. If you'll notice, over half of our Senate this year is now our freshman legislators, if you want to call them that, and Dax's as well. The responsibility of Speaker Pro Tem is one that does not require much prior knowledge. It is one where you have the opportunity for growth. And I think that it is a good idea to expand our circle of experienced senators rather than limit it to ones that are already in leadership positions or have been in the past. So when we identify a motivated individual such as Dax, it is important to give them the opportunities to grow and become those future leaders. In Dax's case specifically, I talked to him right before he decided he was going to run for Pro Tem, and he had talked a lot about Senate and about getting involved early, and I asked him, like, why are you hanging around Senate after it ends? Why did you run for office to begin with? And he just poured out and said that he was really interested in the future of SGA and the future of K-State. Again, he's a fourth-generation student, and he wants to make his mark here. When I asked why he ran for College of Engineering senator when there were only 10 people who had applied and 11 spots open, he said that he wanted to get the full SGA experience, and I think that's something that is also key. Clearly, he has a lot of room to grow, a lot of work to improve himself on, but that's what SGA is all about. It's about getting that experience. It's about coming up to the podium and speaking when you're not necessarily comfortable doing so. I think this is an opportunity we should take full advantage of, allowing our freshman legislators to get the best experience possible. So if you want the best long-term investment where we can invest in new people, I would vote Dax. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for Emily? Senator Black.
Okay, everybody's starting to get bored now. We're gonna play a quick round of Simon Says. Everybody look up at me, all eyes, all eyes. Simon says touch your nose, Simon says touch your ear, Simon says touch your neck, Simon says touch your forehead, Simon says touch your neck. I got a bunch of you, okay. I'm not gonna waste my time because I like to yap and I'll have a lot to say, but everybody lock in on me. I'm only gonna be up here for a couple minutes. I am here to speak to you about why I think that Emily is the best candidate for this position because of her mix of experience, but also her ideas and her leadership. Since Emily first began in SGA, I could see that she was always willing to put herself out there and do whatever opportunities that we would give to her. You can learn a lot in your first year as a senator, and this is only her sophomore year, so she has a long time to go. But she not only was just attending meetings, she was willing to step up. She was the caucus leader for the College of Arts and Sciences, which is important to me because the Speaker Pro Tem is a person that works with your caucus leaders, and she knows what it takes to be successful in nurturing that system because she was a part of it. She was willing to serve on the Joint Committee for Officer Compensation, and she really took a leading role within that committee. I know I got plenty of communication from her about surveys and things like that for me to fill out as an officer in SGA. But it's a great experience as well for going on to become the Speaker Pro Tem, because being on JCOC, you have to review every officer position within SGA, and then you learn what those duties of those entail, which is important because in about a week from now, they're going to be interviewing people for chair positions, and she'll have all of that knowledge from being on JCOC to know what these chairs need to accomplish with that. So, additionally, I want to highlight how her speech was focused on driving forward. We are not trying to tear everything down. We made good progress last year. We have a lot of things to build on. Institutional knowledge, been mentioned a lot tonight and mentioned a lot last week. She has shown that in her first, listen, I was a first-year senator a long time ago, not really, just 2 years ago. But you learn a lot in your first year. You learn even more in your second year. And I think that electing a leader who has competence but still has room to grow is a great step in help building that transfer of knowledge moving on. Yeah.
Is there a speaker for Brady? Okay. Is there a speaker for Dax? Senator Richenberg.
Not too fast now.
Okay, so I did not write a speech. I will keep this very quick for our time's sake. I first met Dax during our SOC, and during that time, I was very impressed of how willing he is to learn, how much he was able to learn in that short time that he had. He also, what impressed me a lot too, was how much he would stay after SOC was over and kept on talking with us, which mainly was just us unks. But he really impressed me with how much he wanted to learn, and I think he would make a great addition to our leadership position. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for Emily? Senator Jacobson.
This is really awkward walking up here. I haven't done this in so long. Hi, everybody. Today, I am very happy to stand before you and speak in support of Emily Freeman. This is a role that requires leadership, responsibility, and the ability to bring people together. And I truly think that Emily embodies all of these qualities. Emily is somebody who consistently demonstrates strong communication skills and willingness to listen to others. In a position like this, it is not about leading discussions, it's about making sure every voice is heard and respected. In addition to her communication strengths, Emily is highly organized and dependable. The Speaker Pro Tem plays a crucial role in helping meetings run smoothly and efficiently. Emily stays focused, prepared, she's detail-oriented, ensures that she can handle these responsibilities with confidence and professionalism. Another reason Emily stands out is her commitment to serving others. She doesn't seek leadership for recognition, but rather the opportunity to make a positive impact. Most importantly, Emily leads by example. She is respectful, motivated, and always strives to do what is best for the group as a whole. These are the exact qualities that we need for somebody that is helping guide our Senate. For all these reasons, I strongly encourage you to support Emily for Speaker Pro Tem of the Senate. I have no doubt that she will do an outstanding job and represent us all with integrity and dedication.
Is there a speaker for Brady? Is there a speaker for Dax? Is there a speaker for Dax?
Which number are we on? Because I lost track. Are we
This is round 5.
That's me. My bad. Guys.
Are you speaking for Dax? Okay.
All right, guys, once again, this is my speech. It's 5 bullet points totaling 8 words. So I am very excited to come up here and talk about Dax and why I think he is perfect for the position of Pro Tem. So I first met Dax, how everyone starts his speech. I first met Dax when I got an email from this random guy, and he said, "Hello, Miss Zacco." And so that was caught my attention. And he was reaching out because he wanted to get involved in SGA, and he had just started on campus. And he said, "I noticed that you're in charge of the Emerging Leaders program. I would love to get involved. How do I do it?" So I got him signed up. We got that squared away. And immediately, once we started Emerging Leaders, he wanted to do everything. He said, "There's a vacant Senate seat in the engineering caucus, and I want it. How do I do that?" He said, "How many committees can I join as an at-large member?" And I said, "All of them if you want to." And he would if he could. Like, he is very passionate, he's very driven, and he has this deep desire to help SGA become better. And I will also say that at that first Emerging Leaders meeting, he was one of 2 people who came up to me after to like introduce himself, say hi. And I remember emailing Evelyn at the time and saying, "Very eager Emerging Leaders participant, wants to join a committee, blah, blah, blah." I was looking through my emails and I did say very eager. That was my first impression of him. And he kind of comes across as more reserved and very straightforward and factual, but once you get to know him, he's a very inviting and welcoming person. Any conversation you have with him, you feel like you've known him for a long time and he's one of your good friends. So I think for Pro Tem specifically, those are qualities that you need to have. With him being a freshman as well, he's going to help kind of attract more younger people into the organization for succession planning. As previous speaker mentioned, we have to invest in our younger senators. And I think he has a lot of connections with younger people who might be interested in coming into the organization. So overall, Dax is more than qualified for this position. I think he would do an incredible job. He's passionate, he's driven, he's organized, and he's very welcoming. So I will be voting for Dax for Speaker Pro Tem, and I would encourage you to join me.
Is there a speaker for Emily? Senator Brown.
I want to make it clear I did not poop myself last time, and I won't again. I won't again. I won't for a second time. That's 2 nots. That's 2 won'ts. So that's double not pooping myself. All right. So Emily Freeman is our best choice for Speaker Pro Tem. I think what I want and what a lot of us want out of Pro Tem is someone who desires honest connection with the senators and with the students. Pro Tem is a very relational role, and where they must have real connection with each college and want to earnestly help them. And I know Emily is the best person for this role. During this last term, Emily and I served as caucus leaders for our respective colleges. One of the Pro Tem's biggest roles in their involvement with the caucus leaders, so it's important that the candidate be passionate about what they can do with the college and with their leaders. In our caucus leader meetings, you could always count on Emily to have something to contribute to the conversation and how we as leaders could better serve our colleges. She clearly cares about this aspect of this position's role, and when we had our conversation about this whole pro temp thing, she talked about how she really wants to mobilize these caucus leaders more to help serve our colleges. Another great aspect of Emily as a leader is that she really cares about the students and is driven to listen and to try to help resolve their issues. She mentioned to me many different conversations she's had with students and all the different issues that they brought up, and I was really impressed with how obvious it was that she really listens and remembers all these different concerns. That made it clear to me that she is centered around making genuine connections with students so that she can help all of us strive for improvement here at K-State. Her desire for face-to-face interaction is vital to this role, and it's what makes her our best candidate. Something else I really admire about Emily is how much she wants each senator's voice to be heard and for them to know that their contribution to our conversations matter. As a first-year senator herself this past term, she understands and is a shining example of just how involved a senator in the first year can be and how much change they can strive for. Now, after serving this first term and getting to understand how Senate works, I know she is ready to step up into this role. Emily wants us all, no matter what year, to understand that we matter and can do great things here in student government. Vote Emily Freeman, 21-point font, 4 exclamation points. Thank you.
Is there a speaker for Brady? Is there a speaker for Dax? Senator.
Is previous question
It is now. Senator Zacco.
I move to close the floor. You called previous question.
Just move previous question.
Move previous question.
It has been made and seconded to call previous question. This is a 2/3 vote, but we will try to do it by hand the first go around. So if you're in favor of calling previous question, ending debate, please raise your placard now. Please go ahead and put those down. All opposed, please raise the placard. Awesome. Previous question passes. So they can come in, right? Okay. We're going to bring the candidates in, and y'all have fun talking to each other. Wow, Andrew and I.
I second that. 1 minute show us. I agree. So wait, like all the yeah. It's like a no, she's like her face is like she's but mine is the app, not the They have the exact same code. The exact same code. Yeah.
Okay, you should have the link to vote in your inbox. If you are proxying for a senator that has not yet been installed, you cannot vote for them. But if you're proxying for a senator that has been installed, please fill out the form twice. Person you're proxying for. Make sure you write the person that you're proxying for in the name, but you can go ahead and still put your email under it, because that'll help us know who actually submitted it.
That was my one.
You just gotta get fired. I always hit that guy.
Okay, it's time for my roast session. Opening the floor.
Oh, let's do it.
How many people? Oh.
He's roasting. It's a stereotype. I think that we dominate here.
Has every senator had the opportunity to vote?
Is it broken again?
Yeah.
Or is it broken?
No, it's not broken. He's working on it.
Okay.
Mine's just really slow right now. I understood that. Hey, can she? I'm not.
Oh, Anna, can I ask you for a favor? Can you go to my office and can you so there's a transition document packet on my desk. Can you bring me that whole stack plus the placards underneath it? Thank you.
Proxies, have you voted for the senator that you're proxying for? Has everyone casted a vote? Does anyone need more time?
Wait, I'm going, but
Keep talking. Sorry. It's not, we're not ready yet.
sorry.
Raise your hand if you want to play more Simon Says. Okay.
You didn't say Simon Says.
That's right. Simon Says stand up. Yeah, that sucked. All right, you can sit back down. Oh, I got some more. Simon Says sit down. Simon Says clap once. Simon Says clap twice. Simon Says vote yes on Bill 262702 next week.
It's not next week. We can't send it to committee.
So,
It'll be a couple weeks.
I will be discharging it from. I will be moving to discharge it from committee at some point at the next Senate meeting because I think it's important that we either. Simon thinks it's important that we have that passed or failed before they select committee chairs. Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, touch your ear. Simon says, touch your nose again. Simon says, touch your ear. Simon says, touch your nose. Touch your ear. Touch your nose. Simon says, touch your nose. Simon says, touch your ear.
You never had to leave
What?
You never told us to stop touching our nose, but then you said touch your nose. So technically we lost, but we also still won.
Simon says, everybody's back in, start over.
Thank you, Simon.
Simon says, put your hands together like this. Simon says, I think they're about, Simon says, undo that and get ready for them to announce it.
Thank you, Max. That was amazing. I hope everyone has fun. Your next speaker pro tempore is Emily Freeman.
Good luck, Emily.
All right. All right, so raise your right hand. Oh, sorry. You ready? I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Speaker Pro Tempore and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Kansas State University Student Governing Association.
I will.
Welcome. Congratulations, Speaker Pro Tem Freeman. Yep. Introduce yourself. Name, major, hometown, whatever, your favorite smell.
Okay. Hi, my name is Emily Freeman. I'm studying political science with a minor in leadership studies. I'm from Springdale, Arkansas, and my favorite smell in this moment is vanilla.
We will now go into second open period. Are there any second open period speakers? Senator Jacobson.
Okay, I'm speaking on behalf of Michael Jacobson. He's my older brother and he works for AFP. And if any of you guys are looking for something to do over the summer that involves some exercise and $21.50 an hour, you can knock doors for the Judicial Selection Constitutional Amendment on the ballot this August. So if any of you guys are interested in doing that, just ask me or text me and I'll send you his number.
Are there any questions for Madeline? Okay. Are there any other second open period speakers? Vice President Bastian.
All right.
You heard Christian plug it last week, but our cabinet applications are still open. They close next week, so you still have a week through April 9th at 11:59. So if you're thinking about it, if you're interested in it, you can reach out to myself, Christian, Kylie. We'd love to sit down and chat with you. But yeah, if you're thinking about it, application's still open, so we'd love to see you all apply.
Questions about cabinet apps? Awesome. Are there any other second open period speakers? Senator Brown.
Wow, sounded really good.
Hello, everybody. So my professor, he told me today that him and a bunch of other professors are having a meeting with President Linton tomorrow about ways that literally all professors can just be better teachers on this campus. And he was like, if you have any ideas, please feel. He didn't say it like that. He's actually British, so he was like, I'm not going to do an accent. He was like, if you have any ideas, feel free to email me, and he said he'll tell the good ones to Linton. So I'm being an extension of him. If you have any ideas or any pressing concerns, let me know, and then I can just email them his way. You can either text me or group me or just come up to me after Senate, either way. So thank you.
Are there any other second open period speakers? Senator Black.
I don't think I can really discuss legislation debate-wise, but I will say I am planning on discharging Bill 2 from committee. If you have questions about it, email me. You can probably just type in Max Black and it'll come up. And then also I will be around SBI tomorrow afternoon working on some buttoning up some last-minute things for the last fiscal year. So you can also shoot me a message if you want to meet up in person about anything about that.
Andrew Lee. Senator Lee.
My placard disappeared. I just wanted to come up here, and it's the end of an era for Evelyn and I. So it's been an honor to serve you guys this last year in Student Senate. It's been such a transformative role to be here and to learn from you guys and grow. I think I've grown so many different ways I don't think I would have grown now. And it's so cool to see all new faces and all these young folks, come in and do big things. So again, it's been an honor of my lifetime to serve the university, to serve you guys, and serve among you. And I just want to remind y'all that regardless of what happens this next year, there's going to be really hard things that come your way. Crap will hit the fan, but you guys will persevere. You guys will stay resilient. Dr. Trace and Dr. Wimmer always tell us we need to learn how to handle hard better, and you need to leave it better than you found it. So that's my encouragement to you. I also know that there have been rumblings of my future here at K-State, whether I will be returning this fall as a grad student. And I formally will not be returning to K-State as a grad student here, but we hopefully will be continuing my studies at The Ohio State University. So my master's degree. So, So that's the plan. Things might change the next couple months, but again, K-State has done so many great wonders for me. And I think it'll be awesome to see where else life takes me. So thank you guys.
Parliamentarian Coke.
Guys, I think this is the first time I can actually move the mic up. Wow. Said with love, but. All right, I just want to give you guys a quick little update. I didn't say this during director's report because I have a feeling this will spark some conversation and maybe some debate, and I think it'll be funny as heck. So for those who didn't know, I was originally running for speaker, and so in my meetings when I was running for speaker, I was asking everyone I met with, is a hot dog a sandwich? And I promised I would give the results whenever I presented. And alas, I did not present, so here are the results. So 9 people said that it was a taco. 8 people said it's not a sandwich, and 1 person said it was.
That was me.
Take that information as you will. I hope to hear some debate and conversation about it later. Thank you.
Are there any other second open period speakers? President Pena.
She doesn't even know. I didn't know. I forgot. She's trolling.
Okay, you heard me all talk about it at the beginning in first open period, but if any of you are interested in serving on the committee regarding tailgating, student tailgating for the upcoming year, please reach out. Caden and myself and Kylie will probably be around here at the end for a little bit, so if you have any questions or you might be interested in joining, please come over and talk to us. Thanks.
Senator Alvarez.
Everyone's doing it, so it's like, might as well. Right, why not? And I think I have the over. So I'm gonna take some time.
Hello, people. We have a lot of new faces here, and so I wanted to do my job. I was a chair last term, and I wanted to encourage everybody here to apply and to be a chair. And if you have any questions about CEC specifically, is kind of where I was in, but I know other previous chairs are still here, and I'm still well connected with the ops and the SSF chair. So if you have any questions about any of those committees, want to be a committee chair, I've had some meetings already. There's a lot of interest, so please, 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 please fill that application out. It got sent out with the agenda. I'm sure Carson will remind us once more. So I just encourage you to do so.
Are there any questions? Okay. Are there any further second open period speakers? Senator Ediger.
Okay, I'm just putting in my shameless plug because my sorority has a philanthropy next Thursday night. Late night wings, there's going to be raffles, wings, of course. So if you want to come, please buy a ticket because I need to sell 5. So please. I'll send the link to Anna. She can send it out to the email. Or Carson, if you want to put it in the Teams. Great. Any questions? It runs until midnight, so we could go after. Yes?
What kind of wings?
Any kind you want.
What is that? Senator
I think
Black.
okay, so I think there's ranch and like lemon, garlicky. I don't really know actually. Wait, I don't know. I'm not the person to ask. Just come, and then you can see what wings there are. Yes, sure. It's at Alpha Zeta Delta 601 Fairchild Terrace. The event is literally from 6 p.m. to midnight. So, follow up.
Like unlimited wings?
Yes.
Senator Vogelmore.
How much would one of these tickets cost?
Just $5. That's literally it. And let me tell you, you also get a raffle ticket for. Caden can speak to this. He won a TV last year at my philanthropy. I know. Great.
Sounds great.
Wait.
Senator Pritchard.
Is there unlimited wings for the $5?
I'm not sure. But you can say that Evelyn told you that you could go back up to the table and get more wings. So
Senator Rafferty.
I'll buy the 5 tickets. Find 5 people in the chamber to take with.
Great.
Agro is ready to go.
Agro wants it. Give it
Caucus bonding time at its finest. Awesome work. Are there
Okay, any other questions?
Senator Zacco.
My question is, what day is this, and also what time?
This is next Thursday from 6 p.m. to midnight. I will send out a link to our to the ad. Any other questions?
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, okay. What's your question?
If we wanted to stop by before Senate, could we also go after?
You probably have to buy another ticket. Sorry. Just go after Senate. Just go after. All right, great. Buy 2. Yes, Senator Freeman. Oh, sorry. That's your job. No, it could be like a show up, buy one if you need to. But if you do that, then I get the points that I need for my philanthropy plans. So, granted. Oops. Yes, you can. Go ahead.
Are there any other questions? Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other second open period speakers?
Sorry, I don't have my chair.
What's your name? Abai. Senator Abai.
That's the most special
Hey guys, we're almost done. Can we try to limit crosstalk, please?
Okay. Sorry, I don't have my little tag thing. But my name is Leah Vai. I'm new, so it's nice to see everyone. I'm president of K Solutions. It's an industrial engineering consulting group, and we're currently looking for some projects. Some stuff that we do is like system organization, ergonomics, stuff like that. If you know what that means, like one example, if you guys have been in Kramer Dining Hall, or I don't know if the Derb does this, but if you guys seen like the little Swiffer things that they use to like clean the tables, that was from K Solutions. That was an idea implemented, and we ended up like saving them maybe like around $10,000-ish a semester, which is pretty cool. And right now we're working with Little Apple Pilates for like space organization. So if anyone has any clubs, groups, or organizations that need some help with like problem solving or just improvement, please contact me. So, thank you.
I'm gonna try really hard to say your name correctly. Senator what do you say it for me? Alf Fela Cowie.
Yeah.
Alf Fela Cowie. Okay. Sorry.
Hi guys, I'm the president of the Muslim Student Association here at K-State, and so this upcoming Sunday we're having like a bonfire at Tuttle, so feel free to stop by. It's going to be a potluck, so we're going to be bringing food, we're going to bring like a huge projector, we're going to have movies, karaoke, games, and I also just want to say we have like annual events usually, so every year we have a huge event called Fast-A-Day where we try to get people to try fasting, and then we host a huge dinner. We actually just got our funding from SGA, so now I'm in the ins and I get to figure out how all that works. And so next year, keep that on the lookout. It's really big. We bring Middle Eastern food, we have presentations, we have henna, different kinds of cultural displays. So yeah, you guys should stop by our event. It's kind of a niche little group, but it's fun, so stop by.
Are there any questions? Freeman?
Not yet. Yeah, funding first.
Are there any other questions? Thank you. Are there any other second open period speakers? Awesome. Speaker Pro Tem Freeman will take it away with Senate shoutouts.
Hello. We have. Oh. Guys, stop submitting them, please. Okay, you're cut off. 17 shoutouts.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's doable.
Shout out to I don't think Max understands it. Simon says, not Simon think. Could we please get Senator Brown's British accent? Senator Brown, I will defer to you.
Give me like a week to practice.
Next week, during second open period speaker, Senator Brown will be giving us a British accent. Shout out to Andrew Lee retirement party at Club Tub tonight, 10 p.m. to close. Shout out to Close the Yearbook. Andrew, why are you still using a placard that says Speaker Pro Tem? Shout out to Period Batty Go Emily. Shout out to Parley Pookie. Shout out to I'm so glad that Speaker Pro Tem Flicky's reign of terror is over. I don't know how this organization is still afloat. Shout out to Senator Shellhaze for being a beautiful man. Shout out to Parley Pook. Shout out why I'm pretty sure a double negative makes a positive. So did you poop your pants? Again, Senator Brown. No. Shout out to Mommy's Little Meatballs, last roll call. Shout out to I'm excited to finally have a new Speaker Pro Tem. The last one was not doing it for me. Shout out to whichever candidate is reading this. Thank you. Shout out to Andrew Growing. We knew it wasn't taller. Shout out Wyatt for being accident free for 2 weeks. Shout out That's My Bestie Emily. Shout out Period. Mamas.
Period.
That's it.
For reference of legislation, Bill 262702 will be referred to Senate Exec, and we will go ahead and roll into second roll call.
Okay. Abai. Alfalakawi. Alvarez.
Here.
Bailey.
Here.
Barnes.
Here.
Bassler.
Here.
Is that the correct pronunciation? Okay. Black.
Here.
Bontrager.
Here.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, sick. Brown.
Here.
Carruthers.
Here.
Good pronunciation. Clark.
Here.
Koch. Conrad.
Here.
Country C. Corbin.
Here.
Ediger.
Here.
Engel.
Here.
Eppard. Foot.
Here.
G. G.
Oh, no, it is G.
Hang on, sorry. Geiger, is that how you say it? Geiger? Sick. Holmes.
Here.
Jacobson.
Here.
Jarek.
Here.
Jones Isabel.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Von Leonard. Is that how you say it?
Leon.
Leon Rod? Okay. Lund.
Here.
Mangana. Whoa, what just happened? Please. Miller.
Here.
O'Farrell.
Here.
Oliver.
Here.
Otto.
Here.
Perry.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Pritchard.
Here.
Rafferty.
Here.
Richenberg.
Here.
Richburg.
Here.
Salmon.
Here.
Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Sands.
Here.
Shellhace.
Here.
Shakib. Hassan Shakib. Okay. Shahsavari.
Here.
Steenkamp.
Here.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Teo.
Here by proxy.
Till. Vogelmore.
Here.
Winter.
Here.
Zach O'Cady.
She's here.
Zach O'Malley.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Senator Lee.
Move to adjourn until next Thursday at 7 p.m.
All in favor, please raise your placard now. All opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.